The message you've received today isn't just a simple set of words, but a declaration that will reach the quietest recesses of your heart. In the next few days, your world is about to change. Yes, the same world you've seen crumble so many times, the same life you've hidden your tears without telling anyone, the same paths you've walked so many times you've thought nothing new will ever happen. But God is telling you that the story doesn't end here, because the most beautiful chapter of your life is yet to be written. The pain you've hidden behind your smile, the anticipation that has robbed you of sleep, and the questions you've never found answers to, are all slowly about to be transformed. You've probably spent many nights feeling like your efforts were trapped in a dark room where no light could reach. You felt like the world was moving forward and you were left behind. Your heart may have even told you that perhaps happiness wasn't destined for you. But listen, every time you were broken and still stood up, God was watching that courage. Every time you endured your pain not in words but in silence, your story was still being written. Now is the time to change that silence. In the next few days, things around you will begin to change that you cannot yet see. Some people will leave your life. Some new people will suddenly enter your world. Some closed doors will open automatically. The opportunity you have been waiting for months will present itself to you. The thing that was breaking your heart inside will give you the greatest strength. Because sometimes miracles don't suddenly descend from the sky. They enter our lives gradually and then change everything. The story written by your tears will now smile. Hope will come to your empty hands. The fear that has lurked in your heart will now leave its place. God wants to tell you that more than you have lost is coming towards you. The situation you're in right now isn't your destination. It's merely the turning point from which your new beginning is about to begin. The days ahead will make you realize that sometimes the greatest joys come after the longest wait. And when that moment arrives, you'll remember a time when you cried yourself to sleep, when you thought no one could understand you. But then suddenly, life grabbed your hand and said, "Enough is enough. Now it's your turn." Your world is about to change. What you've always imagined would bring tears to your eyes. Your story isn't ending. Your story is just beginning. And when that new chapter of your story begins to unfold, you might not even believe it's actually happening to you. Because a person who has lived with pain for so long doesn't easily trust sudden joy. You'll repeatedly ask yourself if this is really the same life that, until recently, seemed to only be a struggle. You'll wonder if this is just a dream. Is this a momentary happiness that will be snatched away again? But God will whisper in your ear, "No. This time, the one who is coming isn't just to pass through your life. He's come to stay." Not everyone can endure what your heart has endured. People saw your smile, but they didn't see the silent struggle behind it. No one saw the nights when you tried to pick yourself up with your own questions. No one saw the moments when you appeared strong on the outside, but were shattered on the inside. You learned to pick up the broken pieces yourself and put them back together. You carried your pain, not as a burden, but as your strength. And perhaps that's why what's coming your way now isn't just a brief joy, but a transformation that could change the course of your entire life. In the next few days, even the air around you will feel different. Some things will begin to fall into place without effort. You'll receive messages you'd given up hope for. Opportunities you'd never imagined will present themselves. Your heart, long searching for answers, will slowly find solace. And suddenly, you'll realize that the path you thought was the end was actually the beginning of a new door. Remember, not every storm comes to destroy homes. Some storms come to clear away old dust and allow one to see a clear sky. Perhaps what broke in your life wasn't meant to destroy you. Perhaps it broke to lead you to the place where your true destiny awaits you. Because sometimes the things we feel lost become the very paths that lead us to our true destination. And one day, suddenly, you'll look at yourself in the mirror and smile. Smile for no reason, because that day you'll understand that the wait wasn't in vain, the tears weren't in vain, and your silent prayers weren't lost. That day, your heart will softly say, "Perhaps I've been fighting for this moment for so long." Then, slowly, you'll realize that life never stays the same. The days that once seemed heavy eventually turn into memories. The pain that once weighed on you now strengthens you and propels you forward. And the time that's now approaching you will make you realize that God never writes a struggle without reason. Behind every tear, every weight, every breakdown, there's a reason we don't understand at the time. But when the right time comes, the whole story becomes crystal clear. The emptiness that has long lain silent in your heart will slowly begin to fill. You'll realize that the restlessness within you is gone. The smile that circumstances had taken from you will return to your face. And the most beautiful thing will be that you won't see this change suddenly as a grand miracle, but in small joys. Feeling good one morning for no reason, feeling lighthearted after someone close to you, finding an answer to a long wait. Sometimes life's greatest miracles come slowly like this. You'll even realize that those who didn't understand your worth, those who ignored you thinking you were weak, will now look at you differently. But by then, you will have changed, because this journey will have taught you more about your own worth than others. You'll realize that a person's true strength lies not in their voice, but in their patience. It's hard to defeat someone who maintains hope even in pain. And when life opens new doors for you in the days to come, don't be afraid. Don't shrink back from your old wounds. Because not every new opportunity is like old pain. Not every new person is like old people. Not every new path will lead you astray. There will be some paths that lead you straight to where your prayers have long been yearning to reach. There will come a time when you'll look back and your eyes will be moist, but this time not with pain. This time because you'll realize the days you thought were over. In fact, from there the most beautiful beginning of your life was taking place, and then that day will come when your heart will feel complete peace for the first time after a long time. The peace that comes not just from external circumstances, but from the end of inner conflicts, because a person is more weary of the storms within themselves than of the outside world. You have traveled for a long time with the questions, fears, and unspoken pain of your own heart. Sometimes it felt as if your voice was reaching no one. Sometimes you felt alone even when surrounded by people. But now time is slowly crumbling that wall of loneliness. You will remember how many times you looked up at the sky and silently asked for something. How many times you prayed without words, just from the heart. How many times you said, "Let a little good time come to me too." And then you waited. Days passed, nights passed, seasons changed, but your questions remained the same. Still, you did not stop. Your steps may have slowed, but you did not stop moving. And this is what is taking you to a place where something new awaits you. Sometimes life leaves us empty-handed for a long time, not because there is nothing for us, but because what's in store for us shouldn't be too small. Perhaps if you'd gotten everything you wanted earlier, you'd never have realized its value. But now that you know the meaning of pain, you'll also understand the significance of the joy that's to come. Now you'll find solace in even the smallest things. You won't need a grand reason to smile. And that day, when something good suddenly happens in your life, when something unfinished is fulfilled, when a dream becomes a reality before your eyes, your heart will be at peace for a moment. You might not be able to speak for a while. You'll just smile and think to yourself, so much waiting, so many tears, so much silence. Perhaps it was all for this moment. And when that most beautiful page begins to unfold, you'll realize that time never treats anyone unfairly. It only makes you wait, but not for nothing. It changes a person from within. It strengthens them. It prepares them for things they weren't ready to handle before. The same thing was happening to you. You felt like life was holding you back. But the truth was, life was building you. A new person was being born from your broken pieces, one stronger, more peaceful, and beginning to recognize the light within. For so long, you tried to keep others happy. Sometimes you put your own desires aside. Sometimes you hid your pain to make someone else smile. You did so much for people, but you didn't always get what you expected in return. Some relationships remained unfulfilled. Some promises were broken along the way. Some people left you. In those moments, you might have felt like you weren't worth anything. But the future will make you realize that you were never worth less. It's just that not everyone had the vision to understand your worth. And then you will slowly begin to understand that the hardest part of life wasn't enduring the pain, but keeping hope alive. Even when darkness seems all around, it's not easy to keep a little light inside. But you did it. Sometimes you broke down. Sometimes your faith was shaken. Many times your mind told you that you no longer had the strength to move forward. Yet you rose. Perhaps slowly, perhaps tremblingly, but you rose. And sometimes that is the greatest victory. Your story is not like those who got everything without struggle. Your story is like those who fought a great battle for even the smallest step. Therefore, the brightness of what is about to come your way will be different, because hands that have long felt emptiness feel even the smallest joy wholeheartedly. Eyes that have long seen tears understand the value of a smile more than others. In the coming days, something will begin to change within you. You will feel as if an old burden is slowly being lifted. The fear that has long lingered in your heart will begin to weaken. You will feel lighter than before. You will feel that you are the same person, but something new has been born within you. A new hope, a new faith, a new courage. And then suddenly, one day, on an ordinary morning, when the sun shines on your face, you will smile for no reason. Because that day, your heart will tell you without words, the most beautiful dawn comes after the longest darkness. You will realize that whatever happened didn't break you. It prepared you. Then you will look up at the sky and say nothing. There will be no complaints. There will be no questions. There will be only a calm smile on your face. Because at that moment, you will understand that God never hurries. But when it gives more than a person can imagine, and your story still continues. There are still some unwritten pages left. And perhaps within those pages, the most beautiful miracle of your life awaits you. And when those unwritten pages begin to unfold, you will feel a strange feeling, as if your soul has breathed a sigh of relief after a long time. As if, after a long journey, a traveler has finally understood the meaning of his path. Because sometimes, a person is more tired of not understanding why they're going so far than of reaching their destination. You too may have continued with this question, why so much with me? But time will gradually reveal the answer to this question. You will realize that the things that were taken away from you weren't your weaknesses. The people who left you didn't determine your worth. The opportunities that passed you by weren't the end of your destiny. Because what is truly destined for you finds a way back to you. No distance, no time, no obstacle in the world can forever keep what is yours. One day, you will realize that your heart is no longer the same. The heart that used to break over small things will have learned to smile calmly. The things that used to keep you up all night will no longer weaken you, because pain didn't just make you cry. It has also taught you. It taught you that finding someone doesn't have to be lost. It taught you that every door closing isn't a defeat. It taught you that sometimes the greatest victory is when a person finds themselves again. And then, suddenly, life will present you with a moment you've only imagined. Perhaps it will be a dream come true. Perhaps it will be a joy you've long awaited. Perhaps it will be the peace you've long sought. And in that moment, your eyes will fill with tears as you realize that all your struggles weren't in vain. That day, you'll look back on your past pain, and for the first time, you won't hate it, because then you'll understand that it brought you here. Those dark days taught you the value of light, and your heart will quietly say, now I understand. My story wasn't written to end, but to shine. Then, your life will reach a turning point where you won't need to run. You won't need to prove yourself to anyone, and you won't need to constantly appear strong, because for so long, a person fights not the world, but their own fears. You too may have silenced many voices within you. Many times, you've told yourself, endure a little longer, hold on a little longer. Maybe tomorrow everything will be fine. And you've held on, endured, waited. But now that tomorrow is slowly coming towards you, the fatigue within you isn't just physical. It's the fatigue of unfulfilled hopes you've held in your heart for so long. It's the fatigue of silent questions you've never received answers to. It's the fatigue of relationships where you've given your all but only felt emptiness in return. And God sees that fatigue. It sees the tears that never fell. It knows the nights when you were calm on the outside, but completely broken on the inside. Now, slowly, light will begin to enter your life. not just on the outside but on the inside. You'll start to feel yourself again. You'll start to find joy in things you stopped feeling long ago. The morning breeze will taste nice. The sky will seem a little more beautiful, and your heart will feel lighter for no reason. Because sometimes miracles don't just come in big events, they also come in changes within a person. And the day you realize that you're no longer the same, you'll understand that change has begun. The change you've long needed. The change that won't just give you new things, but will restore a part of yourself that was lost. Because sometimes, before the world changes, the world within a person changes. And then, in a quiet moment, when you sit alone, your heart will softly tell you something. See, you didn't give up. And perhaps that's why life hasn't given up on you. And then a time will come when you'll realize that the trajectory of your life is changing. The same paths that once only showed you dust, fatigue, and waiting will now begin to see meaning. You'll begin to understand that some things didn't come on time because they weren't wrong, but because their time hadn't yet come. Too often, in a hurry, a person considers their destiny incomplete, while somewhere above, the most beautiful part of their story is still being written. You'll remember how many times you tried to smile, trying to control yourself. How many times you told others, "I'm fine," even though your heart knew all was not well. You have made your pain a habit. You had made your loneliness your friend. You had hidden your broken parts and presented yourself as strong to the world. But not every person who appears strong is always strong inside. Often, the people who smile the most carry the most silent pain. But now that silence is slowly about to change. Now, not only will the events in your life change, your emotions will also change. The fear that held you back will begin to weaken. The memories that used to make you cry again will gradually lose their pain, and a new energy will begin to arise within you. Energy that will give you the courage to dream again. Because the truth is, your dreams never died. They were just exhausted. They sat silently inside you, waiting for you to believe once again. Tell your heart once again that it's not over yet. Move forward with the sparkle in your eyes that circumstances once robbed you of. And then one day, you'll suddenly realize that the path to the happiness you've been searching for outside always lay within you. That day, your eyes will lift to the sky, and this time, you'll have no complaints, no questions, only the feeling that the long wait is ending, and a new beginning is slowly knocking at your door. When that new beginning finally knocks on your door, it might seem quite ordinary at first, because the biggest changes in life often don't come with a fanfare. They come quietly, like the first rays of dawn, like the soft light coming through a window after a long darkness, like the sudden relief of a weary heart. Initially, you might not even realize that the moment you've been waiting for so long is right there before you. You'll remember that you once thought fate was against you. You thought your prayers had gone astray. You felt that perhaps happiness wasn't destined for your life like others. But with time, you'll begin to understand that being late and not getting it are not the same thing. What's truly meant for you can come to you even if you're searching for it. Gradually, you'll feel a strange peace within you, where before everything made you restless, now your mind will become calm. Where before you wanted answers immediately, now you won't fear waiting, because you'll understand that everything has its time. Just as the rainy season comes at its own time, just as the sun rises at its own time, so too do the miracles of life come at their own time. And then one day, in a perfectly ordinary moment, you'll suddenly stop. You will look back on your past. You will remember those nights when you silently cried. You will remember those moments when you thought nothing would change. And then a faint smile will appear on your face, because at that moment you will realize that the paths you thought were painful were actually leading you to your new world. And your heart will softly say one thing: I am not breaking. I am changing. I am not losing. I am getting ready. And in that very moment, something else will begin to change within you. You will realize that you are no longer the person who used to panic at every little thing, who used to consider every closed door as a defeat, who used to lose himself with every lost relationship. Time has not only taught you to wait, it has also taught you to understand yourself. It has made you realize that a person's greatest strength is not their voice, but their patience. Their greatest victory is not defeating others, but reconnecting with the broken pieces of themselves. Many times you have wondered why your story is different from others. Why did you face so many obstacles? Why did you have to wait so long? Why did you have to soothe yourself with your own tears again and again? But gradually, you will begin to understand that some stories are not meant to be ordinary. Some stories are written so that when they reach their end, people who read them will not just smile but feel. In the days to come, something will touch you deeply. Perhaps a conversation, an encounter, an opportunity, or even just a feeling that will suddenly remind you that you can still dream. You can still make a new beginning. You can still let light into your life. Because sometimes we don't lose to the world. We just forget to believe in ourselves for a while. And the day your faith fully returns, all the closed windows within you will begin to open. The fear that held you back will begin to leave behind. The pain that repeatedly pulled you back to the past will loosen its grip. A new voice will be born within you, a voice that says, "Don't stop now, don't be afraid, don't abandon your story halfway." That night, when you look up at the sky, perhaps there won't be any words on your lips, but a quiet smile will linger in your heart as you begin to realize that your world has truly begun to change. This is just the beginning, and this beginning will slowly take you to the place you once imagined yourself. Perhaps, long ago, when your dreams were new and your heart held less fear, you painted a picture of your life, a picture filled with peace, smiles, belonging, and the feeling that everything was in its right place. Then time passed, circumstances changed, and the storms of life blurred that image. You thought that dream would now become just a distant memory, but some dreams never end. They just wait for the right time. Now, that time is slowly approaching you. The sound of your footsteps is reaching the destination you once kept hidden in your heart. You just can't see the full picture. But paths are changing, circumstances are changing. Something within you is awakening. The faith that had been silent for so long is beginning to open its eyes again. You'll suddenly realize that before, you wanted to hold on to everything: people, memories, hopes, answers. You were afraid that if you let go, everything would be lost. But now you'll begin to understand that some of the most beautiful things in life are found not by holding on, but by trusting. What is meant for you will never leave you, and holding on to what isn't yours only tires the heart. One day, suddenly, all the restlessness within you will calm down for a moment. You'll sit by a window or stop suddenly while walking on a path. You'll take a deep breath, and your eyes will fill with tears for no reason, because in that moment, you'll feel like you're finally meeting the person you were forced to sever from yourself by circumstances. And then your heart will softly tell you something. This long journey wasn't just about reaching your destination. It was about bringing you back to yourself. And when a person reunites with themselves, their entire world begins to change. Because before any external light can be seen, the darkness within must be dispelled. You've suppressed the voice of your own heart for too long. You've become so engrossed in others' expectations, others' words, others' judgments, that you gradually forgot to listen to yourself. But now your soul is calling you again. It's saying it's time to revive your broken dreams, to relive your unfulfilled desires, and to cleanse all the dust that has accumulated on your heart. The emptiness within you wasn't always created by sadness. Often, it was created by things you wanted to say but couldn't, by the emotions you suppressed for the happiness of others, by the tears you held back, mistaking them for weakness, and gradually, all those silences turned into walls within your heart. But now those walls are about to break. In the coming days, you won't just see happiness, you'll see yourself transform. You'll realize your heart isn't as heavy as it once was. You'll begin to see light in even the smallest things. A simple morning, the voice of a loved one, a cool breeze, or the moon shining in the sky, all will seem more beautiful to you. Because when a person begins to heal from within, the whole world changes. And then a day will come when you won't need to prove to anyone how strong you are, because the peace in your eyes will become your strength. Your smile will reveal how many battles you've won. Your silence will reveal how many storms you've weathered to reach here. and your heart will slowly feel the peace it's awaited for years. That day, perhaps you'll look up at the sky and think, whatever was broken wasn't broken to destroy me. It was broken to bring me back to my true nature. And then, with that light, a new dawn will enter your life. That morning won't just be about the sun's rays, it will be about the hope awakening within you. For so long, you've only endured life, but now, you'll begin to feel it. Days won't just pass. Each day will make you feel something new. You'll feel as if your soul is learning to smile again after a long time. You'll remember a time when you woke up every morning wondering what your day would be like. Was there another sorrow, a disappointment, an unfulfilled hope awaiting you? But now, gradually, that fear will begin to fade. Your heart will begin to welcome each new day, because where you once saw only darkness, now a tiny light has begun to appear somewhere far away, and sometimes that tiny light changes a person's entire world. There are going to be moments in your life that words can't fully describe. Moments when your heart suddenly starts to beat faster, when your eyes will moisten for no reason, when you'll feel as if God was listening to your silent prayers. You'll feel that some things are truly changing. Some blocked paths are opening up. Some unfinished pieces are beginning to connect. And then you'll remember your old days. You'll remember how many times you fell and got up. How many times you felt it was impossible to continue. How many times your heart tried to give up, but you didn't stop. Your steps may have slowed, but you didn't stop, and perhaps that's why your story has reached this point. In that quiet moment, your heart will softly tell you something. The change I've been waiting for so long didn't come from outside. It was born within me. And in that very moment, you'll realize that your world is truly changing, that this journey will never be the same again. It's about taking a direction where you'll see shadows of your old self at every turn. The self that once feared, that tried to gather itself after every break, that went to sleep every night with a pain hidden deep within its heart. You'll look at him, and perhaps your eyes will fill with tears for a moment, realizing how exhausted he was. Yet, he refused to give up. He didn't show his tears to the world, but instead fought a new battle with himself every day. You'll begin to understand that strength doesn't always lie in loud voices. Sometimes, strength lies in the person who, even after being broken, still gets up the next morning. Strength lies in the smile that comes to your face even after pain. Strength lies in the hope that lives on in a corner of your heart, even after being disappointed 1,000 times. And that strength was always there within you. It just took time for you to recognize it. Gradually, things you need will begin to come into your life, not just what you desired, because sometimes what a person asks for and what they truly need are different. You will begin to find the comfort you were looking for in people. You will begin to feel the belonging you were looking for in relationships, and you will begin to regain the trust that circumstances had taken away from you. Then one day, for no apparent reason, you will suddenly look at yourself in the mirror. You will simply stare at yourself for a few moments, and you will feel that much has changed on your face. Perhaps there will be a little depth in your eyes. Perhaps there will be a little peace in your smile. But the biggest change will be that for the first time, you will see strength within yourself, not weakness. And then you will realize that life is not just about reaching a destination. It was also the name of the paths on which you cried, fell, recovered, and rose again. Many times you thought your steps were too slow, that others had moved ahead of you, that perhaps you had been left behind. But time will now whisper one thing to you: no one else's pace determines your fate. Every soul has its own time. Every story has its own season. You will suddenly realize that many of the things for which you have repeatedly hurt your heart were not meant for you. Some people come only as lessons, not as destinations. Some paths come only to show you which is the right path. And some pain comes so that a person can recognize the hidden strength within themselves. Every breakdown you thought was the end was perhaps a turning point, a new door, a path that was leading you to your true self. Now in the days to come, you will begin to feel a peace within you that you never knew before. You will not try to hold on to everything. You won't be in the constant urge to have every answer immediately. You'll begin to understand that some of the most beautiful things in life come from within. And when you fully understand this, a deep peace will arise within you, a peace that doesn't come from victory, wealth, or anything external. but from the realization that you're no longer fighting yourself. For a long time, you questioned your own heart. Why me? Why is this happening to me? When will everything change? And after every question, you were met with silence. But sometimes, silence isn't a sign of having no answers. It's a preparation for the answers that time will bring at the right moment. Your soul has been carrying a heavy burden for a long time. That burden wasn't just of sorrow, but of unfulfilled hopes you didn't let slip, of dreams you kept hidden within your heart, of relationships you held back for. But now, slowly, you'll feel that weight begin to lift, as if someone were lifting a burden of years from your shoulders. It's as if the window of a long, dark room is opening for the first time, letting fresh air in. You'll begin to see signs in every little thing. Even an ordinary morning will feel different. Someone's smile will touch your heart. An old fear will suddenly seem less significant, and you'll begin to understand that change doesn't always come with a big bang. Sometimes it creeps into a person very slowly, and by the time it's complete, the person themselves have become a new world. Then one day, you'll look back and see your old self, the person who was once filled with pain, who constantly searched for answers, who lost themselves with every broken relationship. And that day, a quiet smile will cross your face because, for the first time, you won't be sad to see them. You'll feel proud of them, and your heart will softly say thank you. Because if you had given up, I would never have reached this point. And then, after that thankfulness, a feeling will arise within you that will be difficult to fully express in words. As if some very old pain is finally releasing its grip. It's as if a door you've thought closed for years slowly begins to open. You'll realize that life wasn't always against you. It wasn't holding you back. He was sustaining you. Because some journeys take a person deep within themselves before they reach their destination. You'll remember how many times you've stared at the ceiling in the dark of night, wondering, will everything ever be all right? And back then, you had no answer, just a tiny hope in your heart, very weak, very quiet, but still alive. And now you'll realize that that tiny hope has brought you here. Sometimes, a person overcomes life not with great strength, but with just a tiny hope. Now, something inside you will be changing. You won't need approval all the time. You won't feel the compulsion to keep everyone happy. You'll slowly begin to understand that your worth isn't determined by who stayed with you and who left you. Your worth is determined by how many times you've been broken and yet still managed to keep humanity, hope, and love alive in your heart. And then one day, in a very ordinary moment, when you're busy with work or sitting quietly somewhere, you'll suddenly realize that the noise in your heart has subsided. The restlessness that always swirled within you was no longer the same. And in that very moment, a slight moistening would form in your eyes, because you would understand that the peace you were searching for in the world was slowly taking root within you. And in that moment, your heart would smile and softly say, miracles don't always descend from the sky. Sometimes they are born within a person and then transform their entire world. And when that miracle fully takes shape within you, you would feel as if your soul had emerged from a long, dark path and emerged under the open sky. You would realize for the first time that life wasn't just a count of struggles. Life wasn't just the days when you cried, broke, or felt alone. Life was also the time when, despite thinking of giving up, you decided to move forward. It was the name of those small victories that perhaps no one saw, but which brought you here. You would remember how many times you had counseled your own heart to wait a little longer. How many times have you held back tears so no one could see your weakness? How many times have you made others laugh while silent storms raged within your own heart? And now, when you look back, you will realize that your greatest victory wasn't reaching a destination. Your greatest victory was that, despite so many storms, you didn't let your heart turn to stone. Now, a new light is being born within you. That light is telling you to walk with faith, not fear. Now, look into the dawn, not the shadows of the past. Now, stop staring at the doors that have closed, because new paths are slowly opening before you. And then, one day, very quietly and without any noise, you will feel a change within you. you will understand that you are no longer the same person who used to crumble with every pain. You are now becoming the person who learns from each pain and emerges stronger. There will be a different peace on your face, a different glow in your eyes, and the throb of a new beginning in your heart. And at that very moment, your heart will whisper something. I wasn't waiting for the world to change. I was changing myself, and now my world is changing too. And now, as your world begins to change, you'll realize that some changes aren't seen with the eyes, but with the heart. From the outside, everything may seem the same roads, the same people, the same sky, the same mornings and evenings, but something will be different within you. Your way of thinking will have changed. The things that once kept you up all night won't seem as heavy anymore. The things that once broke you will now make your heart smile. You'll slowly realize that you've always had a strength within you that you never fully recognized. Because when a person is in pain, they can't see their own light. They only see their wounds. But now, your wounds will no longer be your weakness. They will become the pages of your story that tell how far you have come. And then one day you will ask yourself, if I could get through all those difficult days, then what am I afraid of now? And perhaps for the first time, you will have the answer to this question, not of anything, because the end of fear does not mean that the problems in life have ended, but it means that now you have faith in the strength within you. There will be moments in your life when you'll feel as if time is flowing in your favor. Things that were stagnant for a long time will slowly begin to move. Things that were tangled will begin to clear. Dreams that were unfulfilled will begin to breathe again. And you'll realize that God was never against you. It was simply shaping you into a person who could hold their own. Then, on a quiet night, as you look up at the sky and the breeze brushes your face, your heart will smile softly and say, "Now I understand. My wait wasn't in vain. My story isn't over yet. The most beautiful chapter is yet to come." And that most beautiful chapter is slowly unfolding. For too long you've lived your life like incomplete sentences. Some dreams unfulfilled, some relationships unfulfilled, some desires unfulfilled, and some things you never told anyone. You've often felt that perhaps your story will remain incomplete forever. But the most remarkable thing about life is that it doesn't reveal its secrets until the very end. Just when you think you've figured everything out, life presents a new twist. The pain that's been building up inside you for years won't suddenly vanish one day, but its grip will begin to weaken, like the sound of an old storm slowly fading away. You'll realize that the things that once shattered your heart are now just memories. They won't be able to hold you back. They won't be able to hold you back, because now hope will no longer be just a feeling within you. It will become your strength. And then, moments will come in your life that you won't even recognize before. A sudden smile, an unknown joy, a small success, a moment where you laugh for no reason. Before, you would take such moments for granted and move on, but now you'll feel them, because someone who has seen so much darkness recognizes even the smallest light with their heart. Your soul no longer wants to sit down exhausted. It wants to soar again. She wants to touch her dreams again. She wants to believe again that life isn't meant to be endured. It's meant to be lived wholeheartedly. And when that faith fully awakens within you, there will be a new sparkle in your eyes, a sparkle that comes not from the outside world but from the peace within. And as that light spreads, you'll realize your soul is no longer as weary as it once was. For too long, you've carried an untold burden within you. You've hidden every disappointment, every brokenness, every unfulfilled desire in a corner of your heart. You've walked, you've smiled, you've talked to people, but deep inside, a part of you was always silent, a part that was just waiting for that moment when someone would come and say everything was going to be all right. But now you'll slowly begin to understand that that voice didn't come from outside. That voice was always within you. It was the voice of your own soul that, even through every dark day, whispered, "Don't stop. The story is still here." You'll remember how many times you've downsized your dreams simply because the circumstances seemed overwhelming. How many times you've convinced yourself that perhaps you don't have as much luck as others. But the coming time will teach you something profound. Life doesn't change through comparison. It changes through faith. because not every flower blooms in the same season, but when it does, it blooms with all its beauty. Now your time is slowly approaching, the time when you'll reconnect all the broken voices within you, the time when dreams will stir in your heart again, the time when you'll be able to say without fear, "I'm ready to start again." And when this faith fully takes root within you, a different spark will appear in your eyes. That spark won't be the spark of victory, not of wealth, but rather, it will be that of a person who, despite losing so much, hasn't lost hope. Because the hardest thing in the world is not to move forward. The hardest thing is to keep the faith even when all you see is darkness, and you did. You didn't let the last bit of light in your heart go out. Now you'll realize that life wasn't a battle against you. It wasn't trying to break you. It was shaping you into something that you'll one day be amazed by. The patience you've developed, the understanding you've gained, the depth you've gained, didn't come by chance. It came from every night you silently endured pain. It came from every morning you woke up broken and moved on. The moments to come will be something you'll likely never be able to fully express in words, because some experiences aren't understood, they're felt. You'll feel as if a closed window has suddenly opened. It's as if the wind, long silent, has begun to blow again. As if the first drops of rain have fallen on the soil of your heart after a long drought. And then you will hear a voice within you, very quiet, very slow, but very true. That voice will tell you not to look back. Don't count the paths that made you cry. Don't count the people who left you. Now look at the lights that are moving towards you. Now look at the person you have become. Then you will look up at the sky. You will take a deep breath, and for the first time, your heart will realize that perhaps miracles don't happen suddenly. They are born slowly within a person and then one day change their entire world. And your heart will smile and say, "I don't have to wait anymore. Now I have to live." And when you feel this in your heart, "I have to live now," then your life will find direction, but it will come very quietly, very slowly, and very deeply. Where before you only waited for something good to happen, now you will begin to feel that good has already begun to happen. You just weren't used to seeing it. You'll begin to understand that real change comes from a shift in thinking, not a shift in circumstances. You used to see every difficult day as an end. Now you'll see it as a lesson. You used to see every passing thing as a loss. Now you'll see it as making room for something that truly belongs to you. A new stability will begin to emerge within you, a stability that's unshaken by any storm, because now you understand that not everything is in your control, but your response is always in your control. This understanding is what makes a person the strongest. This understanding keeps them from breaking down even after every pain. And then, gradually, you'll begin to feel a lightness within you, as if the heaviness that has been holding you back for so long is now being lifted. You'll try less to hold on to things. You'll gradually balance your expectations of people. You'll fight less with yourself. And most importantly, you'll begin to accept yourself as you truly are. One day, you'll remember your old days, but they won't be painful anymore. Now there will only be understanding. You will no longer look back on those days with self-pity, but with pride, because you will know that if it weren't for those days, you would never have become the person you are today. And in that quiet moment, your heart will softly say, "I didn't end up broken. I was being made by breaking." And when you fully understand that you were made by breaking, a different kind of confidence will arise within you. This will not be the kind of confidence that makes noise, shows off, or tries to prove itself to the world. It will be the kind of confidence that is quiet, steady, and deeply felt. You will no longer feel the need to prove anything, because you will believe in yourself. You will also gradually begin to understand that not all emptiness is bad. Some voids exist so that they can be filled with something new. Some distances are created so that new paths can be created. Some endings happen so that true beginnings can take place. And now the same process is going on in your life. What seems like an end is actually a preparation for a new beginning. The restlessness that always kept you in fear of losing something will begin to subside. You will no longer try to hold on to every moment. You will begin to learn that letting everything flow is an art, because what is yours comes to you in its own time. And what is not yours does not stop, even if you try to stop it. And then one day, suddenly, you will realize that you are no longer the same person. Your reactions will have changed. Your thinking will have changed. Your emotions will be balanced. Where before, the smallest things would break you, now those same things will just make you smile, because you will now understand that not everything needs a reaction. Sometimes, peace is the greatest answer, and in that very moment, a very calm voice will arise in your heart. I have reached a place now, where I no longer have to fight myself. Now I am with myself. And when you truly are with yourself, you will realize that life's greatest victory wasn't somewhere outside. It was always within you. For so long, you searched for it outside, in people, relationships, circumstances, and destinations. But now, slowly, you will begin to understand that the peace you were seeking in the world was always within you. There was just too much noise. Now, that noise will begin to subside. Thoughts will calm down. A new rhythm will begin to emerge in your heartbeat. You will stop running from yourself. You will stop fearing your pain. And most importantly, you will not let your past dominate you. Because now you understand that the past is a teacher, not a prisoner. You will also realize that life never leaves you empty-handed. When one door closes, it closes only so you can see other doors. But when a person is in pain, the closed door appears the greatest. Now, you are beginning to break free from that perspective. Now you have begun to see more broadly, and then one day, for no apparent reason, you will feel a deep smile within you. That smile will not be due to any external happiness. It will be because you have begun to understand yourself. You have begun to forgive yourself. You have begun to slowly let go of your old fears. At that moment, you will feel as if your soul has taken a deep breath, and it will tell you in a very quiet voice, now you are where you are meant to be. And now the most beautiful part of your story has begun.